Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mina and today we are going to be starting another reading vlog, I think. We'll see how this goes. I have been in quite a reading slump for the past week, maybe a little bit over a week. I finished reading a book that I was really anticipating. It was a sci-fi book and it came out at the beginning of March. I read it and I was just kind of mad about it and a little bit disappointed about it. And then I decided to pick up one of the new Star Wars books that I had acquired recently. And also I'm finding myself just not in the mood to read a Star Wars novel, and especially because it's not focused on the characters from the film. It's not gripping my attention as much as I wanted it to. So I think I'm going to pause on the Star Wars book that I'm currently in the middle of. I'll tell you what it is. It's called Light of the Jedi. This is actually a new release from 2021 and it takes place during the High Republic era in the Star Wars universe, which is something that I was excited to check out because I love the concept of the Jedi and I always want to explore more about the Jedi. So this is supposed to be during the time when the Jedi was at its height, and like I said, it's not super good so far. I'm 160 pages in and it's almost 400 pages, so I'm not even halfway through yet. And it took me a week to get to this point. I'm just I've also just not been in a reading mood. So I don't know if that's impacting my experience. So that being said, I'm going to pause on this book and hopefully come back to it. And I say hopefully because a lot of times I will pause on reading books and then never come back to them. But I want to come back to this. So maybe I just need a palate cleanser type of book. And a new book just came out yesterday, which I have been looking forward to. It is called The Jigsaw Man. And this is something that I did not know about until maybe the past month or so. I've seen a couple of people on Bookstagram post about this book and it wasn't on my radar, but it is a detective crime thriller type of story and it follows a detective who is investigating murders that are similar to the MO of a famous serial killer known as the Jigsaw Man. And I think he cuts up the body parts of his victims and arranges it like a jigsaw puzzle. I think that's why he is called the Jigsaw Man. So that sounds super intriguing to me. I really want to read something dark. I really want to read something creepy and scary, so I'm hoping that fulfills that satisfaction, that satisfies my desire to read something like that right now. I have to go pick it up. I placed my order on Barnes & Noble for pickup, so I think I'm gonna go soon and pick it up, get started on reading, and probably vlog my experience reading The Jigsaw Man. So that is the overall plan for this reading vlog. It is currently Wednesday right now, middle of the week, and yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take me to read this. It's almost 500 pages, so we shall see, but I will check in with you guys a little bit later when I actually have my hands on the book. Okay, hello you guys. It's a little bit dark in here. It's kind of a gloomy day even though it's not actually raining, but it's cloudy. I just picked up my book from Barnes & Noble and it is The Jigsaw Man by Nadine Matheson. I believe this is this author's debut novel, which is also exciting because if I love this one, then I'll be looking forward to any future books that she comes out with. But I'm really excited. It is kind of long, which is daunting, especially since I'm in a little bit of a reading slump, but I'm hoping that the thriller, creepy vibes will just pull me out of my slump and it'll be a good experience. So here's hoping. I also, when I was there, I wasn't gonna buy anything else, I promise. I really was not. But there was a table of a bunch of copies of this book called The Lake by Natasha, can't see her name because of the sticker, Natasha Preston, and it says that it's our monthly Barnes & Noble pick, which is interesting. And it came out in 2021, which is cool. It's a new release, but I didn't actually know about this book. And the reason why I picked it up is because it's a thriller and it takes place in a summer camp. And I think I mentioned this before last summer, but I love summer camp related thrillers and horror. I just love that setting so much, even though I've never been to a summer camp in my life. And I just love when thrillers and horrors revolve around bodies of water. I just think it's so creepy. And this one is called The Lake, and it's about two women who are coming back to their childhood camp, but this time as counselors. That's another trope that I absolutely love. I love when it's like going back to like a childhood setting and something like dark happened in your childhood and you're kind of returning to that setting and addressing what happened. And they had this secret that they've been keeping all these years. It says that Esme and Kayla did something terrible when they were campers, and now they receive a message saying the lake never forgets. And it's basically like bringing up whatever happened to them when they were campers, even though now they're counselors. So I am like really hyped for this, but I am going to save it for the summer. So, but I'm really excited. I love summer camp horrors, and thrillers are the best. I also got myself a Starbucks because why not? Came all the way here, might as well get myself a Starbucks. And I got a grilled cheese sandwich from Starbucks as well. Their grilled cheese sandwiches are really good. I'm not even gonna lie. I got a latte today and not a cold brew. I really did want to get a cold brew, but again, I'm trying not to have too much caffeine, especially on days that I have work the next day, because it's just really hard for me to sleep. So I just got a latte and made it mostly decaf. I'm gonna eat my grilled cheese sandwich. I'm excited. I'm like really sad that I have to wait. Well, I don't have to, but that I'm going to wait for that lake book, because that just sounds so interesting right now. This is their grilled cheese. Okay, I'm gonna go finish eating this and then I will talk to you guys later once I've started reading the Jigsaw Man. Hello you guys, it is now Thursday, it's the next day, and I did get started on reading the Jigsaw Man. I am now on page 70, so I did want to give you guys like my initial thoughts on the reading. And oop, Ninja, no! Ninja wants to knock over my camera. It's like super gloomy outside and it's raining and it's chilly, and I'm wearing the same t-shirt that I was wearing yesterday, so I covered it up with like a big sweater so you guys wouldn't notice, but I just gave myself away. But I am enjoying what I've read so far. It's definitely a like police procedural type of crime novel where we are following a detective and we only know as much information about the crime and the victims and the killer as the detectives know. So far there are no alternate perspectives. And I think, I'm trying to remember, there's like a lot of different characters, a lot of different people who are investigating. And then there was a scene where we did get kind of like a perspective from the Jigsaw killer, who is currently imprisoned, but the killer that we're looking for is a copycat killer. So it's not the same guy. But it's like really interesting because the main character that we have, the female detective, she had an experience a couple of years ago. We haven't gotten that much information yet explaining that experience, but it led to her going on kind of like a hiatus from her work, and it involved the Jigsaw killer. So I'm assuming that she was on the case and she ended up being either kidnapped or almost becoming one of the victims of the Jigsaw killer. So she has an interesting perspective because it's really like hitting close to home to her now that they see this copycat killer dismembering body parts and carving the same symbol into the bodies that the Jigsaw killer had. So she is feeling a little bit more connected to the case than I guess she wanted to. And this is also the first time that she's coming back to work after her couple of years of hiatus after the previous experience. So there's kind of a lot going on. I do think that it's like really gritty, and it is a little bit of a slow burn. Like, there aren't many actiony, suspenseful moments so far within the first 70 pages, but I don't mind it. I actually really do like detective stories. It reminds me a lot of Zodiac, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And even though that movie is also like kind of slow and it takes you through different like time periods and different people who are involved investigating the case, I just feel like it's a mystery. It's a puzzle, literally a puzzle that everybody is trying to piece together and figure out like who the killer is and you know, whatever else. So it's interesting to me. I also really like cop detective shows. I love Law and Order SVU. I loved Dexter. All of those like British crime shows that were on Netflix. I loved The Following. I really liked Broadchurch. I really liked, oh my God, there was this one show with the actress from The X-Files that was just top notch. Forgot what it's called, but it's also on Netflix, and it was so amazing. But I love getting from the perspective of the detective. So I know a lot of people don't really like those thrillers, but it's been a while since I've read a thriller from that type of point of view. So I'm excited to keep going. It's lengthy, and like I said, it's a little bit slow burn. So I'm hoping that it'll keep my interest, but so far I really enjoy this author's writing. You can tell that she is coming from like a law background. It does say that in her bio that she is a criminal attorney, and you can really see that because just like her experience shows through her writing. She has a lot of knowledge. I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place. I haven't vlogged in a while, so I don't know how to do this anymore, but I will see you guys later. I have a meeting like really soon in a couple of minutes that I have to attend to, but I did finish teaching, and I'm gonna hopefully get some more reading done in later. Okay, so it's a little bit later. A new Target has opened up by us, and it is incredible. It is like a 2-floor huge Target. Me and my husband are obsessed. We went there 4 times already since it opened in the past like week. And every time I go, I get a candle because their candles are so good. I got this blue lavender one the first time we went. It has a really clean type of scent. Then I've got this Velvetier Woods one, which I absolutely love. I've already started using it. It's so calming, and it just smells so fresh and nice. And then today I found this rosewater and mint candle, which is awesome because I absolutely love the scent of rosewater and the taste of rosewater. I think it's so yummy. So we got that. And then I just wanted to show you guys, I got a box of these like applesauce pouches that are like meant for children, but I think they're just absolutely delish. So just wanted to share. guys, it is now the next day. Today is Friday, which is awesome. It's the end of the week. What is that beeping noise? So it is the end of the week now. I finished up with my work for the day. It's the afternoon. It's like 1:30, and I also got done with my Friday cleaning that I usually do. I wanted to come on here and update you guys with my thoughts on the Jigsaw Man. And I am really enjoying this book. I had some time while I was teaching today because my students were actually taking like a practice midterm exam. So I didn't really have to do any legitimate teaching. I was kind of just like proctoring them while they were taking that exam. So I got some reading done. I am now at about page 200, so I'm a good chunk of this in, and woo, like this is such a great read. I'm so happy that I decided to pause my previous read and pick this one up because I'm just really loving it, and it was definitely something that I was in the mood for. So I mentioned yesterday that this book is kind of slow in terms of the action, and I still stand by that, but when I say slow, I don't mean that it's like boring by any means. It's definitely a slower burn thriller, and I think whenever you have a detective point of view or a police procedural type narrative, you're bound to get kind of a slow building of events because there's only so much information that the investigators know, and you're kind of like getting little clues and pieces of evidence along the way. So it's not like you're getting a bunch of action happening one after the other, which is fine. I don't particularly mind the slower burn aspect of this novel. Hold on, you guys. I just feel like this guy is about to deliver like food to my apartment, and I don't know. I don't think he is. So yeah, I definitely don't mind that aspect about this. I think that even though it's slow, it's still definitely interesting and disturbing and dark and gritty, so I do like it. I also wanted to say that I'm really enjoying our characters. I think our main character, Detective Angelica Henley, is a really interesting detective. As I said, she has a bit of a backstory with a previous case with the infamous Jigsaw killer and getting kind of too close to that case and being almost one of his victims. So kind of having that past and like trauma in her life really adds an extra layer to her character and makes us able to not only sympathize with her more, but also feel like she's really invested in this current case because of its connection to the one that she was previously involved in. There's also a little bit of tension between her and her husband. Their marriage is not perfect. There are some choices that she made, I'm gonna try not to spoil anything, within her marriage and her relationship that I don't agree with, and you know, I'm sure most people would not agree with, but I think having these flaws within her character definitely humanizes her a little bit more, and it's such an interesting perspective because we don't get a lot of female detectives, and I feel like the way that she's being described is almost, I don't want to say masculine, but I think that there are certain stereotypes about like male detectives and male investigators that we see a lot in literature and in films and TV shows, and she is getting that same treatment, if that makes sense. So it's a nice like change of pace to see like the woman, to see this role being played out through a woman, female character. I don't know if my ideas are really making sense. I'm starving and I can't think clearly right now, but whatever. I'm gonna keep going. So I really like her character, and I also really think that what makes this book interesting is that it's quite similar to Silence of the Lambs, which you guys know is a classic, and also the TV show Mindhunter on Netflix, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. It's absolutely beautiful. If you have not checked out Mindhunter and you love anything crime related, anything like serial killer related, definitely check it out. It is just such a great show. But the reason why I'm comparing it to those shows and that movie is because we are not only dealing with the current crime, the current case that's happening and that's being investigated, but our detectives have to go back and consult with a previous serial killer, the Jigsaw Man, the man who the book is titled after, and the man who our main character caught previously. And they have to consult with him and ask him questions related to their current case and kind of get his perspective on things, because it is a copycat killer. So I really love that type of detective story where they have to kind of go back and interview and consult with a known criminal and get that person's perspective and like opinion on the case. I think that's so interesting. I love like the psychology of the detective and the killer kind of like bantering back and forth with each other. And I always feel like the killer that was previously convicted and that is being consulted with always has that same kind of arrogant attitude. They always like to toy with the detectives. They always like to withhold information. They like to talk a lot. They like to brag. It's always the same kind of character, the same kind of person that we see in that role. And I love that element of this book. I think it's so interesting and it's so fun, and again, it adds like another layer to the plot. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm excited to see where things go. I have like a little theory. I won't share it with you guys yet. Maybe I'll mention it later, but I don't know. I feel like there's a character who is slightly suspicious and has a certain motive. So I'm thinking maybe that person could be involved, but I'm just going to stop here for now. This clip is extremely long, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm waiting for food delivery to come to me. I'm going to eat. I'm going to head out and go to my parents' house, hopefully get some reading done there. Maybe I'll get myself a Starbucks again. And I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Okay, you guys, it's a little bit later. It's like 3:30. The amount of traffic that I just sat through was actually insane. But I got myself a cold brew, and they really made it creamy this time. I only got a medium because it's kind of late. But it is yummy. And I have nothing new to report about the book. Haven't read anything since I last updated you guys. I'm headed to my parents' house now. It is super windy and it like looks so nice outside. It's like sunny, and in the car I feel like warm. I have the AC on, but the moment you step outside, that wind chill hits. And to be honest, I almost got blown away from the wind. So that is today's weather forecast for you. I'm going to drink my cold brew and go to my mom's, and I will catch in with you guys possibly later when I have more reading done. Hello friends, it is now the next day. It's Saturday morning. I didn't get a chance to update you guys since yesterday, but I haven't gotten too much reading done since my last update. I'm now on page 240, I think, of the Jigsaw Man. Yeah, I'm on page 240. I don't know why. I think I always expect myself to read more when I go to my parents' house, but I didn't read anything when I was there. I ended up just reading a little bit when I came home. So Fridays are not usually like a heavy reading day for me since I'm not home most of the time. But today I should have time to read since I don't have work. I have a couple of things that I have to do, like grade a couple of essays, do a little bit of cleaning. So once I'm done with all of those chore related things, I will hopefully have some time to read more of this book because I am still really liking it. I remember yesterday I was talking about how I'm so intrigued by the characters and how I really like their personalities, and I like our main character. And one of the things that I didn't mention yesterday is that there's also like a little bit of a discussion concerning race and how I guess different it is for victims who are white and victims who are not white, so like black and people of color, and how they don't get treated the same in the media, how they don't get as much media attention as our primarily white victims. So I think that that's a really interesting discussion, and I'm glad that they brought this into the mix. Our main character is also a black detective, a female black detective. So I think that that also adds a nice dimension to the plot as well, because again, she's really connected with the fact that one of our victims was a female black woman, and she's not getting as much attention as some of the other white victims from previous crimes, or the crime or the same killer who has been killing other people as well. So I really hope that they go more into depth and explore that a little bit, because I think that that's such an important issue concerning law enforcement, and it's definitely needed to be discussed. I don't feel like there's a lot of thriller and horror books that concern race and racial tension unless they are heavily focused on that. For example, When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, that is a thriller that is heavily focused on gentrification and racial disparities. So that's like the main theme of that book. And I feel like whenever I'm reading something thriller or horror, that's not usually the focus. And it's a shame, because that's a societal problem that we're dealing with in real life. So I feel like that's something that should be explored. And I'm glad that this author is doing that. I think this author, yeah, she's black, Nadine Matheson. And as I've said before, she's a criminal defense attorney, so she really knows her stuff, and I feel like this seems like an authentic police procedural because she's so involved with that in her real life that I feel like it comes across in her writing, and she seems like to be an expertise in this area. So I'm really, really enjoying this. I also wanted to say, and this could be considered a spoiler, so if you don't want to know anything about this book, I would just skip ahead, but I do want to mention this one plot point. As I said yesterday, we are consulting with the Jigsaw Killer, and our main character and some of the other detectives are going in to interview him. However, there was a scene that I just read last night where the Jigsaw Killer basically faked having a heart attack, was sent to the hospital, and escaped from the hospital. So things have gotten a little bit more juicy and like action-packed, and the scene where he is escaping from the hospital was so reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs, when Hannibal Lecter escapes from his holding cell and kills the guards. I was just like hearing the music, like the classical music that was heard in Silence of the Lambs in the movie. I was like hearing it play while I was reading that scene, because it seemed very, very reminiscent and almost inspired by that scene from Silence of the Lambs. So things are about to get a little bit more interesting. They have to not only find the Jigsaw Killer, but they also have to find the serial killer that they have been initially looking for. So 2 killers out on the loose, and because Jigsaw has a connection to our main character, he could potentially go after her family, and it just creates a whole like web of complications, which makes the narrative so much more interesting. I do want to say that the theory that I had yesterday, I don't have it anymore. I'm going to tell you guys what it was. So I thought that our main character's husband might somehow be involved, and I know that sounds crazy because like he's such a small and random character, but it just felt so weird that... So there was a scene when a package was sent to our main character's door, and it was bloody, and inside was a head, which is actually, again, another like reference to the David Fincher film Seven, which is awesome. I don't know if that's what the author was going with, but that's what I thought of when that scene happened. But anyway, so when that box was delivered to our main character's doorstep, of course her husband was just coincidentally on a jog. He didn't see anything suspicious happening, and he came back right when the package was delivered. So I kind of thought that maybe he could have been involved in some way. I also felt like he has a motive because he has a grudge against his wife, her work, her schedule, her routine, the fact that she doesn't prioritize her family and prioritizes her cases more than her family. I felt like maybe he would be angry and like kind of vengeful, but I don't think that that's the case here. And also our main character, spoiler alert, had an affair with one of the other detectives, and her husband knows about that. So I think I'm not going to stick with that theory, but at the time it sounded legit. Now I don't think that he's involved, but who knows? So I don't know. I'm really, really liking this. I'm looking forward to reading more of it. I hope that I can finish it this weekend because I've only been able to complete 2 books so far this month, and the month is almost over. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but hopefully I can finish this one and possibly go back to Light of the Jedi and finish that one as well. But okay, this clip is extremely long. I will catch in with you guys a little bit later and discuss more of my reading thoughts. So it's a little bit later. It's like 3:30 now, and we just went out to go to Target to pick up some things. I forgot my camera at home, so I'm just using my phone, and got Starbucks. They actually messed up my order this time. I just wanted my regular cold brew, but they put this, I think it's like a vanilla sweet cream foam on the top. It's not bad. It kind of just tastes like whipped cream, but I prefer my regular order. So, yep, I will check in with you guys later when I've done some more reading. Hello you guys, we are back now from our Target run, almost done with my drink, and I was gonna do like a little bit, first of all, my braids are just looking crazy right now. I was gonna do a little bit of a Target haul for you, but we got mostly snacks, so I don't think that it's that exciting. I'll show you like what else we did end up getting. I got another candle, surprise, surprise, but this one was literally $5. A $5 candle. Like, how can you say no to that? And the flavor is, or the scent is soft cashmere and lavender. So clearly I really like lavender scents. This one smells very like fresh, springy, clean. It kind of smells like you just walked into a freshly cleaned bedroom or a freshly cleaned hotel room. So that's nice. And let me show you the other big purchase that we got. So the other big purchase was this flannel. Oh, look at this. Ninja's inspecting. This new flannel comforter, or like duvet. I think it's a comforter. And it's got like these like subtle stripes, but it's like a beige and gray color. It is so soft. I love flannel material things. I have these flannel material sheets that I've been getting for years, but I basically wanted a new comforter that we could use as a blanket. So we have like a plain white comforter that I never open up on my bed because it just, white gets dirty really easily, especially when you have like cats with cat hair, and it's just, you know, it's literally there for aesthetic. When I have like guests, if guests will ever come over in the future, I will open it up. Or if I'm like taking a picture like on my bedspread, I will use the white comforter. But basically we've been using this old gray comforter that my husband had from like his old apartment as our blanket, and it's like pretty old. It's like years old. I mean, it's still fine, but I did want to get something new, and they had this one at Target. It was only $40. It is so soft. Ninja is already enjoying it, and yeah, I really like it. So this was the other thing that we got from Target. I got the window open so she can like hear all of the sounds from outside. Wow, this is a nice little shot here. Ninja! Hi, baby! Hi! You're so pretty! You're such a model. She really is such a model. Hello, friends. It is now a couple of days later. It's Tuesday. Did not vlog yesterday. Did not vlog Sunday. But I did end up finishing the Jigsaw Man last night, and I'm coming on here now to give you guys my final thoughts of the book. I really, really enjoyed this, and I think it's not a surprise because I was talking about how much I was enjoying it along the way. So I'm just really glad that I continued enjoying it till the end. And I think that I really did myself a favor by switching from reading something that I was like not totally into at the moment into something that I really, really wanted to read and that I was like feeling. So really good decision by me. And I just want to say, like, I am so impressed by Nadine Matheson because this does not feel like a debut novel at all. And I know like what really feels like a debut novel, like it's not, I'm just saying like it felt very impressive for a first novel and it didn't feel like an author's first attempt at writing something. So I give her a lot of credit. I really like look up to her and her writing because, you know, I just think that she was so masterful in crafting this complex story. And detective stories are not easy, like having to like fit in the pieces exactly where they should be at the right time. It's, for lack of a better word, a puzzle. And I just think that like she did it so well and introduced all of the evidence and the different like reveals and things at the right moment. So the crafting and the plotting of this story was really, really well done. And I think for anybody who enjoys that detective perspective and police procedural type of narrative, this is a really good one to pick up. It feels very reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs and of Mindhunter, and I think that it feels like a new age classic detective story, which is nice. I also liked how dark and how gritty this one was. There were some pretty intense like gore moments, which I think sometimes you don't get too much of in thrillers because like that's kind of a fine line between thriller and horror, where horror will just like be gratuitous with gore sometimes. Thrillers will not always go that extra step, and she did, and I think that that made this story a lot more compelling, which is awesome. Characters were very realistic, very authentic, and they were fun to read from their perspectives. I loved the dynamic between the Jigsaw killer and our main character. I just thought that it was such an interesting connection that they had, and I don't know, I just really found myself enjoying this one. I also felt like there was a lot of focus in this book on what it means to be a detective and how the job truly consumes your entire life, and not even just for our main character, but you can see it for some other minor characters as well. If you are involved in this field, if you are a criminal lawyer, or you work in evidence, or you work some way involved in like the legal and law system, your entire life is consumed by your job. And that's like a huge theme in here. It's like, do we prioritize our personal lives or, you know, the lives and safety of the public, which is what their job is asking them to do? And I think it's such an important and interesting question, and I'm glad that that was, you know, discussed in depth. And it also really touches on the effects of like post-traumatic stress, dealing with situations that, you know, are not easy mentally to digest, and like coming back from those experiences. Should you get help? How should you get help? Like, there's a lot going on in here, and I think that the way that this book ended really solidified that theme for me, if that makes sense. Like the very last like line of this book, I'm not going to say anything or spoil anything, but just like reminded me like, oh yeah, like that is a huge theme of this book, is about asking for help and dealing with your trauma in the correct and healthy way so that you can continue with your life without doing things that are maybe toxic to you or put you at risk. So I think that that's such an important conversation that was brought up in this book as well. So there were a lot of really great things about this book, and I think I definitely recommend this one. The only like criticism I have is that I really, really wish the discussion of racial disparities and just like race in general was more prominent, and I thought that it was going to be from like reading the beginning when our main character was kind of focusing on this past experience of a Black girl going missing when she was younger and that not receiving enough attention. Like, I really thought that that was going to be a theme that was more prominent in this book, and sadly, like, it wasn't too focused on. There were like a couple of mentions of like race and, you know, being a black woman in law enforcement and how you're treated differently. Like, there were a few times that that was brought up, but I really wanted it to be more heavily discussed and explored. So that's like my one criticism, is that I wish the author went a little bit further with that point. But I think that she does so much in this book, and I just really loved it. I also didn't mention, I love the cover of this book. The colors are so awesome and the font is really cool. And it has this like light pink naked hardback, which is absolutely beautiful. So I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed my experience reading this, and I hope that you guys pick this up, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I really hope that Nadine Matheson comes out with some other crime and thriller books, because I will definitely pick up anything she writes from now on, which is awesome. This was such a long book too for a thriller. It was almost 500 pages, and even though like I didn't read it very quickly, but I think that I enjoyed my experience and I kind of like paced myself, and it was great. So highly recommend this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love like vlogging new releases, because I feel like people don't always know about some of the new books that are coming out. I don't even know about all of the new books coming out, as you guys know. Like, I get a lot of my information from Bookstagram and from BookTube, so it's so nice to like expose people to any new releases, especially debut novels. So important. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you check out this book. Let me know your thoughts below on some of your favorite crime and detective TV shows, movies, and books as well, of course, because I'm always interested in that genre, and I'm always looking for good books, movies, and TV shows that focus on that area. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in my content, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful day today. Bye, guys.